everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet a double cluster V-stitch. Now this is a very pretty stitch to work. It's the same on both sides, so it's great for those reversible projects. It's quite simple. It's a 1-row repeat once you get the stitch pattern set up. And I have used it in a few crochet patterns now, including my recent Long Island shawl. And it's just a great versatile crochet stitch. Not quite solid in nature, but not too holey as well. So today for the tutorial, I'm going to be using a little bit of a worsted weight yarn. It's a medium weight. This is Heatherly yarn by Knit Picks and We Crochet. I'll also be working with a 5mm crochet hook. You may wish to have on hand a copy of the free written instructions, which can be found on my website at richtexturescrochet.com, and I will link that directly down in the video. Thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to take a look around. Don't forget to subscribe. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. Let's grab our hooks and yarn and get started. Now our stitch today is worked in rows, so we're going to start by making a slip knot. You're then going to work a foundation chain, and today for our foundation chain I'm going to chain 22 chains. If you wish to change the size of your work, you're going to need a multiple of, let me see here, 4 stitches plus 2 for that foundation chain. So today I'm going to chain 22. There's 20, which is my multiple of 4, plus 2 more chains. Once you have that foundation chain worked, you're going to begin by working 1 double crochet into the 3rd chain from your hook. This starting chain 2 and double crochet are going to form 1 cluster stitch. You're then going to skip the next stitch, and into your next stitch work 1 cluster V-stitch. A cluster V-stitch is worked by making a cluster, then chain 1 and cluster stitch all into the same stitch. So we're going to start by making our first cluster, yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You're going to do that one more time, yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and draw through all 3 loops. That is your first cluster stitch. You're then going to chain 1 and work 1 more cluster back down into the same stitch. Once you have a cluster, chain 1 and cluster all worked into the same stitch, that is your cluster V-stitch. You're then going to skip the next 2 chains and into the next chain, work 1 cluster V-stitch. Cluster, chain 1, and cluster back down into the same stitch. You're going to repeat this all the way across. Skip the next 2 chains, into the next work a cluster V-stitch, repeat it all the way across until you have 2 chains remaining. Once you come all the way across and have 2 chains remaining, you're going to finish off with that cluster V-stitch, then skip the next stitch, and into your final stitch work 1 cluster stitch. That brings you to the end of your row 1. You're then going to turn your work, and for row 2 you're going to start off by working a beginning cluster. To work the beginning cluster, chain 2, and work 1 double crochet back into the same stitch. You're then going to skip the next cluster stitch and into your chain 1 space, work a cluster V-stitch. You're going to continue working cluster V-stitches in each chain 1 across. So skip the next 2 clusters into your next chain 1 space, work a cluster V-stitch. And you're going to repeat this all the way across until you come to your final cluster stitch. I have 1 more cluster V-stitch to work in my final chain 1 space. And now at the end of my row, I have 1 cluster stitch left. So I'm going to skip the next cluster that was part of the V-stitch and just into the top of the final cluster, which is the top of the double crochet stitch, work 1 cluster stitch. Turn your work and work a beginning cluster, chain 2 and double crochet back into the top of that first stitch. Then for the rest of the pattern, you're simply going to repeat that row 2 cluster V-stitch in each chain 1 stitch all the way across. When you come to your final stitch, work 1 cluster stitch into the top, turn your work, and repeat. And that's all there is to working this beautiful double cluster V-stitch. So thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.